Hey Soul Family, I hope everyone's getting through this very intense crumbling of the world all right. So today we're going to talk about a lot of different things. So let's just go ahead and jump in and you can just discover what we're going to talk about. So the energies over the last few weeks have been so extremely intense. So if you have been feeling like you want to completely start over, you are sick of being in the matrix, you have been feeling completely depleted, exhausted, you've had emotional ups and downs, a lot of fear coming up. So these are the things that are going on in the collective energies right now. There have been so many different reasons for this, and they're all coming to a head and everyone's feeling it. So there are some people that have contracted to be the stabilizers at this time, but a lot of people are feeling these very intense energies, and by now they should be starting to stabilize. So after these very intense solar flares, different massive purging of the collective energies, most of the time they will follow with a integration phase. So I believe we've come out of the most recent highly intense period, and so it should be starting to get better. And so that goes into the next point I want to talk about. So right now we are going through one of the absolute biggest shifts that has ever happened. We are watching the old world crumble and the foundations of the new world beginning to take root. And it is so extremely amazing. Even though it seems very difficult right now, even though things are still really, really loud with the crimes against humanity, the natural disasters that are happening, even though the economy and the inflation is still very difficult, people are having a hard time making ends meet. People are having a hard time with exhaustion in their jobs. Even though these things are happening right now, the foundation of the new earth is actually really taking root in a very profound way. So not only are the structures, the people, and the cabal being taken out right now, it is being replaced with new pathways that are going to help pave the way into the golden age. So even though things are very difficult right now, they're not going to be difficult forever. So it's really important that we stay hopeful right now in the midst of the crumbling, amidst of this apocalyptical revealing of all the information and all the corruption that is happening right now. And if you've been following me for a little bit, you will know that I've been saying that anything that the darkness tries to do now is only speeding up our ascension, because everyone is seeing it, people are calling it out, and the alliance, the Galactic Alliance is in control now. We can see that with the fact that they forced CERN to shut down. This is a huge white flag for our good light team. So right now we are currently still having unstable timelines, right? Because it's not going to it wasn't distorted and rearranged towards the negative timelines in one day. So it's going to take time for the positive timeline to reintegrate and find its new path. But it is here and it is happening. And they are no longer allowed to distort our timelines. Now, that doesn't mean that they're not going to continue, because the cabal and the dark Dracos are going to go out kicking and screaming. And they are, right? We all can feel it. We can feel that there is stuff that is still being pushed towards us in negativity. But the time of that continuing is very short, and it's not going to be too much longer, guys, before we start to take root into this new earth and this golden age timeline. So it's very, very, very hopeful, and there's just so much happening right now. The United States is really really fueling a massive, massive, massive global working of all the different powers and the structures that had control of the earth, and now they do not. So again, with the collective consciousness, people are saying we're not consenting to this anymore. When a critical mass of people consciously state that they are not consenting to crimes against humanity, then the galactic forces can come in and do something, because it's not them going against our will. We are consciously stating that we don't consent to this, and so therefore they can do their part while we do our part. So if you haven't yet and continue to do, state we do not consent against crimes against humanity. We do not consent against synthetic frequencies distorting our consciousness. We do not consent to weather modification. Continue to state this in your being, because the more that we do this and the more that we tell other people to do this, they will not be able to continue, and they can't. But it does continue to help the positive side if more and more people are stating this. So because they get our consent for this in various different ways without us actually being aware of that. But if we consciously say we are not, then that consciously puts into the cosmos, in the energy, the vortex, that we are not allowing this anymore, and that we do not allow these distortions to be affecting us. So it not only is it the alliance, it's also the collect humanity is standing up and saying no more. They would not have the power to be able to back all of this if we as a collective human race were not saying that we no longer want this. So we've been doing a really good job, and everyone keep up the good work, because it has been extremely intense. But everything must get intense so that we can purge, right? We've got to purge the shadow. And if you're a sensitive person like I am, you probably are feeling all of this energy in the collective. And it is very intense, because when that amount of people are having fear, they're having exhaustion, they're having panic, we can feel it in the air, okay? So there's also a lot of different natural, so-called natural disasters happening in the world that is also causing a lot of fear. And, this is part of Earth as well, purging her traumas and clearing out her vessel to be able to ascend into the fifth dimension, into the golden age. So it's part of the process to have these very intense times, okay? So this also goes in line with the solar flares, right? The solar flares have been hitting back to back to back, right? Many of you have probably heard of the solar flash, and I'm not here to say that that is or not going to happen, but I do believe that the continuation of the solar flares in very high, close together ways that we're seeing right now is essentially a solar flash that's happening in increments of time over periods of time that represent the overall solar flash time period. So we are in the solar flash time frame right now with the solar flares that are happening, because every time we have these intense solar flares, they are pushing people to purge. They're pushing people to absolute breaking points to where they are forced to make decisions. They're forced to make changes. And this is good, right? This is a good thing, because when people don't make the choices that they need to make, when they stay stuck in the places that no longer match their frequency, then it does not serve the highest timelines, right? So when we all are pushed and we cannot do what we've been doing any longer, it's very important that we listen to what the solar flare experience is trying to teach us. Because if we make those changes, that next integration period until the next wave of high solar flare activity comes, then we are going to have a much easier time. And then we're going to jump into higher timelines with the Earth. So it's important to try your best to make plans, make faithful decisions, try to do the things that are going to set you up for that. Whatever those solar flare energies and high intensity periods of time like we just went through are trying to teach us, it's really important that we actually listen to them, because it's going to highly magnify the next phase, right? The next 3 to 6 months of your time, if you do make those changes, it's going to benefit you in much better ways. And it is going to benefit the collective when we all make those decisions and make those changes. So I highly suggest trying to do that. So I've also been doing that myself. I've been rearranging things so that I can spend more time on my purpose, which is doing this, and to really have more space to work on the healing. I have not shared my most recent Dark Night of the Soul journey with you, but I'm still in it. I had a very intense trauma happen, and I'm still walking through that. So making the space for that time to heal is very important for me. Getting myself out of the matrix of soul-sucking work that I had been doing is one of the choices that I have made as well in these intense periods over the last 2 months. So I highly encourage you to do the same, because, if we don't, the same pressure is going to come around again until we do make those decisions. So if you can't just get out of a situation right away, which is very normal, start to ask Spirit what it is you can do now to start to go in the direction, right? And to back up your work that you're doing to try to do that as well, to try to listen to the messages, try to listen to what your guidance team, what your soul is telling you. So yes, very important right now to listen to our spirit, right? That is a huge lesson, to listen to our spirit, because we can feel inside of us what is no longer aligned and what is no longer working. And especially right now, it's very scary, right? The world is not in an extremely stable place. And so it's scary to go out on various different limbs. But we have to have faith that there is a divine plan here that's going to work in our favor and in the favor of the collective. So I think that's all I have for you guys today. I am going to be having a lot more time to work on this here coming soon, and I'm very excited because I've really missed doing these videos. I've just been slammed with a lot of Matrix life stuff. So I've been taking the steps to get out of that as well. So anyways, I hope you all are having a blessed day. If you are interested in shadow work coaching, if you have been feeling the intensity and you really need someone to talk to, I want to tell you that when you share what's going on and not just hold all of it in, it will make you feel so much better to have someone to walk with you through the experience and just to release that stress and that fear and all the things that are building up with what is going on in life right now, and maybe trying to figure out what it is that your body and your psyche and your life is doing. And if you need a little bit of guidance to help to see how this next 3 to 6 month phase can be worked to get to the higher timeline, you can always reach out to me me, or you can check out my Calendly link in the link tree, and also check out my website, www.akasharice.com. So I hope you guys have a blessed day, and I will see you next time.